Hello and welcome back to All About Football podcast. Well, we haven't posted in a while, have we, Ben?
No, we haven't. We've sort of taken a break, but we're back. And well, let's just say in our break we missed quite a lot.
Well, I think a small thing called the Super League nearly happened, but sure, we'll barely be covering that today. Not the biggest thing to happen in football in the last decade. No, of course not.
No, definitely not. It's not like we
Um,
missed it or anything.
no. We were gonna do this yesterday, and I mean, I'm thankful that we didn't, considering everything that happened at like
Everything that
11
happened
p.m. last
yesterday,
night.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our whole podcast would pretty much be irrelevant. Not that it is relevant anyway. Um, it'd be completely irrelevant.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, we'll talk about Super League. We'll talk about Jose Mourinho's sacking and the impacts the Super League has had on, well, the world of football. And to start off today, we want to talk about 7 Premier League clubs and three clubs from Italy and three clubs from Spain. And we'll list the clubs for you here. We've got the top six in the Premier League: Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, and I'm forgetting one here, Liverpool.
Liverpool, yeah.
Um, we've got three from Spain: Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. And we've got three from Italy, which are AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Juventus. I mean, I said 7 clubs from England, and I'll explain the seventh one in a minute. But I mean, what do you make of these clubs? The greed.
Um, I think it's nothing short of a disgrace, to be honest. These owners, they've taken over these clubs, which are sort of the epicenter of their communities, and just turned them into businesses rather than sort of community centers, I should say. Um, but yeah, they've transformed them from um sort of clubs into money making machines, which isn't right, should never be right. And then they've taken it almost one step too far. Well, I say one step, probably about 12 steps too far in setting up a European Super League.
I mean, for anyone who's living under a rock, the reason everyone hates the European Super League, and I think I've been asked this a couple of times by people who probably don't watch football as much as we do, the Super League is a closed league. So essentially, what let's for example Manchester City could do is they could buy a bunch of 18-year-olds who have no future, pay them about a million a week, and stay at the bottom of the league and keep getting £1 billion every single year, a ridiculous amount of money, and it would essentially be a cash machine. Uh, I mean, the reasons it wouldn't work are very simple. They wouldn't get enough clubs, first of all, and I
Yeah,
think um, the funding was coming from JP Morgan and Chase. They would start to realize the TV revenue. If this happened, right, I think clubs would start to realize all their good players will leave. Any player with
yeah,
even the slightest bit of ethics will start to leave. It's kind of guaranteed, and they'll start realizing that TV revenue will go down. JP Morgan and Chase, the American banking company, well, they're an investment firm, will start to slow down the amount they're giving to this league. So I think the owners that were smart enough probably knew that it was kind of a milk and dip situation. Like, they're going to milk the clubs, sell, and they'll be gone.
yeah.
So the reason it wouldn't work is because of the closed league system. I mean, what do you make of the entire system, the no promotion relegation type thing?
Um, well, I think it's pretty obvious where they've taken it from. Out of the six Premier League clubs that are in the Super League, three of them are owned by Americans, and this sort of style of no promotion or relegation is sort of stolen from American sports. Like the NFL don't have any promotion relegation; it's just the same teams. Same with the NBA, same with the MLB, same with hockey. I'm pretty sure as well. So it's clearly taken to be more sort of suited for Americans, which isn't right. Because no one in America really cares about football because they call it the wrong name.
Soccer.
Um, Soccer, bro. But as well as that, they're making a Super League and they're not having the two teams who finished in the final of the Champions League the previous season in it.
Wow.
Not much of a Super League, is it?
I mean,
They don't have the two best teams in Europe.
to be fair to those two teams that finished in the Champions League final, PSG and Bayern Munich both did reject Super League proposals, which I mean, big applause to them. That's
Yeah, I mean,
impressive.
shout out to them. I mean, I
Um,
expected it from Bayern, but because of the ownership style they have, the 50+1
yeah.
rule in Germany, where if you don't know what that is, basically 51% of the club has to be owned by the fans. But PSG, I was actually quite surprised that they rejected something like that because I thought that would have been right up Qatari investment funds street because they bought the club to essentially widen the brand of Qatar. Yeah, and yet they rejected to be a part of what would have been the biggest news story on the planet if it did happen. Spoiler alert. Um, so I was surprised by PSG's move, but it was probably in an attempt to keep the players that they've got because look, PSG are a smart club. They're clever in what they do. They've in the last couple of years with the Jordan collaboration, and their kit styles, their kit manufacturing, stuff like that. They've made a fashionable brand. They're making hundreds of millions out of their brand. So they're a pretty smart club. So I'd say they knew from the beginning, like every other fan, that this was kind of going to fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, and it did very quickly. They finished in about, what was it, 36 hours? Uh,
Yeah, probably. Maybe even less than that.
yeah, 36 hours, and they'd already left. And I think Sky Sports Cave Salakal, I think his name is, pretty sure I
Yeah,
butchered that. But he was saying
close
the
enough.
clubs kind of at the forefront were Liverpool, Manchester United, and Arsenal, and they kind of knew what they were getting into. But then the other clubs were kind of just dipping their feet in the water, as he said. And when they realised the uproar that this caused and how much it changed and divided opinions within like the football club itself, they realised it was probably time to back out. And in an attempt that they tried to make about billions and billions of pounds, it's going to end up costing them probably upwards of 100 million. It's going to hurt these clubs financially.
Oh, definitely. I think they went into it knowing that it might hurt them financially if they do it, but if it works, they're gonna make serious money out of it. I saw something. I don't know whether it's real. I don't know how real it is. But apparently, any club who enters it gets £3.5 billion, which
Yeah,
is,
that's
well, frankly, it's a disgusting amount of money for a football team. It's not like a charitable organization or anything. It's literally just so 11 boys can kick a I don't know. I don't even know, to be honest. I'm in shock that that's actually happened. When there's, you know, when there's wars, there's starving children, and yet these clubs are throwing around billions of pounds like they're chess pieces. That's not right to me.
and I think your fans in agreement with you you know, were in abundance when they came around to the stadiums protesting. I mean, there's many videos of even just in Chelsea, in at Tottenham Stadium, in front of the Emirates. There was loads of people just protesting, and it united a whole cause. It united a whole bunch of people who Spurs and Arsenal fans, Chelsea, West Ham fans, United City fans, all had one thing on their mind that this cannot go through, no matter you know the consequences that they have to pay. This will not work because it ruins the whole scheme of football. Leicester winning the league, will it be as monumental again? It'd be like West Brom winning the league right now. That would be incredible if West Brom came that next season and won the league. Imagine that. But if these clubs weren't even in that league anymore, imagine how useless that would be. It ruined the whole way football works, and I mean everyone condemned it. And when there was such widespread, rejection to the whole idea, yeah, everyone got cold feet. Club owners, everyone, they decided this probably isn't the right way to go. And it was almost a race to see who would leave first. I think Cave Solocol was probably saying that as well. Um, because whoever left first would get the most sympathy. And
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like what you were saying earlier about bringing fans together. It's probably the only footballing event that I've ever seen that brings every single fan together, which
yeah,
is good. But I know in about 3 days I'm gonna start hating Arsenal again because it's me. Um, but I mean, I'm happy that it didn't work out because I think that if it did, it was a ploy essentially to get the richer clubs richer and the poorer clubs poorer. And I think if you take the top six teams out of the Premier League, for example, I don't think people realize how much of an effect that would have on teams like, I don't know, Burnley or West Brom or Sheffield United. I know Sheffield United got relegated, but it would be huge. Like, say if you're on the same day, say if a Premier League match is on the same day as a European Super League match, you're not going to choose to watch Burnley and West Brom play over Barcelona and Real Madrid, you know? And I think the TV, Sky, BT, etc., Amazon, I think, they would know that and they'd go for the bigger games rather than the smaller sort of Premier League games. And that would just ruin the Premier League because no one's going to watch the league anymore. And I'd say if that went through and it continued to go through, I wouldn't be surprised if a Premier League club went into administration or something like that within 3 to 5 years, I'd say. So luckily, didn't.
yeah. I mean, it's TV revenue that funds most of the Premier League's prize money, and they all get a large amount of TV revenue. And what the big six clubs' vision, it's that they want to see a time when they can sell their TV rights. Right now, it's up to the Premier League to sell rights to whoever they want, and they equally divide that money kind of throughout the Premier League. And that's why there's such a big emphasis that championship clubs have of getting into the Premier League, not just for the pride, but for financial, a financial state that they get into. It's almost like a heaven. It's almost like heaven for them. Where if you're a Premier League club like Crystal Palace, for example, they do their best just to stay up. They are not a club that is very ambitious, but they do their best and they stay up every single season, and they financially they're a very very stable club just because of that. And I think the Crystal Palace chairman was talking on Monday Night Football to Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, saying, and it was very clear that he didn't want those top six clubs to leave because he knew if they gave them too harsh a punishment, they'd say, it's not worth it. We're off, or they would, and if they gave them too easy a punishment, they think they could do it again. So they're in a very tight spot, you know, in that kind of sense. But I mean,
Yeah, I agree with you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm glad it's over. To be fair, but I'm just as angry with all those six clubs. And I mentioned seven at the start, and I'll explain the seventh club. Newcastle applied to be in the European Super League. I mean, first of all, Newcastle. Just
Newcastle,
take that in.
Tonane.
They imagine Newcastle
Oh
playing
yeah,
against Real Madrid
Newcastle,
every
yeah,
six
huge club,
weeks.
yeah. I think Newcastle fans have this in their head that it's still 1995 and Kevin Keegan's still their manager. Because I mean, sorry, lads, but you're not a big club anymore. I mean, the debate is kind of up there whether you were a big club in the first place. But like, come on, really?
And
Newcastle
it's
and Bayern
disappointing.
and PSG and Dortmund aren't in it. Leipzig aren't in it. Newcastle. You're
Yeah,
fighting for relegation, lads. Imagine what you're going to be like against Barcelona and Real Madrid every week.
yeah, it's disappointing to
I'm
see
turning to
clubs
Roy
like
Keane
that.
here.
Yeah, you really are. Um, just the
Who will be a
pause you
favorite?
have at the end. Um,
Newcastle.
yeah,
Who's
but I
my
mean, it's
favorite?
sad to see a club like that really trying to make their club a cash machine, even when they're not considered an elite club. I mean, get into the Champions League first, and you can probably be in the debate. Well, how long haven't since they haven't been in the Champions League? Probably a good while, yeah.
Oh, probably about 7,000 years. I mean, look, if the takeover happened with the whole Saudi government thing, I don't know, to be honest. Sure. I mean, well, if the takeover happened, that doesn't mean they get into the Super League. They have to buy like Holland and Mbappe. Imagine. But front three: Holland, Mbappe, and Joe Linton.
Imagine that,
Um,
Callum Wilson on the bench.
oh, love to see it. Callum Wilson bench for Joe Linton.
Yeah,
Um, sure, yeah. If the takeover happened and you spent £1 billion on players, and yeah, sure, but like, didn't you didn't just
uh, I mean, the last time they were in the Champions League, I have it here now, is 1997. That's incredible. That is incredible. Them applying to be in the Super League after teams like Porto rejected them. That's incredible. It's, yeah, it's disappointing to see that. And I mean, I can understand why the owners would want a kind of certainty of income like they have in America, but that's just not the way it happens in England, in
It's
Europe.
not the way it works in European sport. You
Yeah,
can't just make something like another model and expect it to work.
yeah. I mean, you can see the way that sport is taken in America. You kind of jump from team to team. You know, one year you're a I don't know, one year you're a Yankees fan, and the next year you're a Red Sox or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very different. Whereas here, once you get your club, you kind of stick to them, and you're with them through thick and thin.
And also in America, um, say you're from, I don't know, well, let's say you're from New York. If the Knicks aren't doing well, you could either stick with basketball, watch the Nets, 'cause they're doing well, um, or you watch the Mets or the Yankees or the Jets. You see what I mean? There's three
Yeah,
different sports in New York, whereas in, say, Manchester, there's one. And yeah, there's two teams, but it's not really the same.
yeah, I
Obviously not,
understand.
because
Yeah,
it's called rivalry. Americans don't know what that is. It's fine.
yeah. Um, Actually, just to interrupt here, I just we're recording this during the Villa City match, and Villa have just taken the lead, 21 seconds in.
Oh dear.
I mean, that's not really loading properly. But City have kind of turned into a bit of a shambles lately, haven't they?
No, I hope so. That they lose the cup final on Sunday.
That's the dream, but unlikely. But that's the dream.
Like John, I can. Hey, like
Uh,
John.
I mean, they went on a ridiculous winning streak of about 17 games, and I'm not going to say they're dropping off because they aren't. That's a fact. They are not dropping off. But are they? Like in quality of gameplay, they are going down a bit. Could be due
Well,
to the absence of De Bruyne and
just Stuart
stuff.
Dallas is the best player in the world. That's what it is. Stuart Dallas is just world class. It's just people are finding out. No, I'm joking.
Do it, Dallas.
Um,
Saved your
he
fantasy
he
team last
he
week.
is world class. He is world class for sure. I'm getting a tattoo of Stuart Dallas. Um, but yeah, they are kind of dropping off because I think they're not prioritizing the Premier League as much anymore because I think they've realized that they've kind of got it in the bag. So they're gonna save their key players for the Champions League, and they're playing against PSG side who are coming off thrashing Barcelona, pretty much dominating Bayern. I know Bayern beat them, but you know what I mean. Um, and they've got one of, if not the best manager in the world in Pochettino. Still love you. Please come back. But they've got Neymar, Mbappe, Di Maria, all on top form. You know, Keylor Navas, one of the most underrated keepers in the world, and Pochettino doesn't exactly have a bad record against Pep Guardiola in the Champions League. You know, played one, as in one two-legged tie, 1-1.
I mean,
And
yeah,
he had
that was
Harry Winks.
incredible.
Harry Winks. Now he's got Neymar and Mbappe. He didn't even have Kane.
Just a slight upgrade now. Just a. Don't be underestimating Harry Winks.
Oh no, I'm saying stronger.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I think PSG are actually dark horses for the Champions League. To be honest,
Nah, I wouldn't call them dark
I
horses
think they
now.
might.
I think they're fairly favourites.
No, I still think City are probably favourites because just because of their depth. But I actually do think PSG are actually going to win it.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably agree with you there. Considering their team, Pochettino's probably learnt a lot from his Tottenham career and his Southampton career. You know, you can see he's grown as a person from being sacked. He kind of understands how football works a bit more. You can see it in his interviews and all.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
He's sort of grown his character. As a manager, he's a more present voice. You can kind of tell that from his interviews, as he said. But yeah, I think he's definitely learned from being sacked.
yeah. I mean, we'll move on to another Premier League club, Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, we love that club, obviously.
Yeah.
What they did this week was horrendous. Can't lie. Uh,
Well, depends on what you're talking about.
yeah, the Super League stuff.
Yeah. That was horrendous. The other thing wasn't.
Yeah, the other thing is they sacked Jose Mourinho Monday morning at 10:30 in the middle of business class. Sure, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yes.
They after a very poor run, winning one game in the last five. I mean, what do you think went wrong for him at Tottenham?
Zagreb. There you go.
I mean, there's a lot of reports coming out saying that his sacking was planned right after the Zagreb match. But
I mean, yeah, that's pretty understandable. I mean, you're losing 3-0 to genuinely a bunch of farmers. Um, you know, I think it just went wrong for him because he sets up a very defensive style of football, and yet he's playing Eric Dyer. Doesn't
yeah,
really work like that. You can't really set up a like a title challenging team, title challenging defense with Aurier, Dyer, Sanchez, Davis.
I
Yeah,
mean,
not gonna happen.
they are backup players. Davis is probably not even a backup player. But
Yeah,
Aurier,
that's fair. But like,
Dyer, they're backup players playing in a team that realistically, given what they've gone through in the last 5 years, the kind of rebuild, they should be challenging for top four every single year. Right now, they're in top six after their win this evening, but should realistically be in that top four and have the squad to be in that top four.
oh, definitely, Yeah, they should be in the top four. Um, the quality of player that they have, um, obviously the front line, Son, Kane, Gareth Bale, who just scored about an hour ago. Um, you know, with the team that we have, we should definitely be challenging for top four, and yet we're challenging for Europa League football. I think that's what went wrong. I think that tells its own story. If you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, not only that, there's tactical mistakes that he was making that like I could realize were stupid. Stuff like taking off Lo Celso, 60 minutes in for Harry Winks, or taking off Ndombele, bringing on Sissoko when we're 2-0 down or something. Even then, you want
Parking the bus.
parking the bus, especially when we're losing, and there's some horrendous tactics he used against Liverpool. I mean, the 2-1 there when he went for that 4-2-2. Everyone knew that was going to fail.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he tried it against Liverpool. And I think those were kind of his experimentations. He did one against Leicester. He tried a new formation there. Some of those experimentations are what kind of cost him his job.
Oh, they definitely cost him his job. You shouldn't be experiment. You know, as the old saying goes, don't fix what isn't broken. Why would you change tactics when you're winning? That doesn't really make any sense. Surely if you're winning a game, keep the same tactics so you score more goals, so you guarantee your win.
That's very fair.
That'll make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, I
coming
don't know. I'm
from
not a manager. I haven't been at the top level like Mourinho has, but well, he's not at the top level anymore, is he?
he's off top. He got a nice payout though, £34 million.
Hey.
Stacking in cash. You could see he wasn't even sad. Like, do you see the thing he posted on Sky Sports? He posted this.
Yeah, he was just filming all the camera crew. I mean, to be
He
fair, I
loved
wouldn't be
it.
sad if I lost my job and I got £34 million for losing my job.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair. Yeah, I'm sure he didn't mind the £34 million one bit.
Oh, I wouldn't say he would have.
I mean, speaking of Premier League clubs, just to look at the Premier League table. Can I just say how much I want Brighton to go down? They just piss me off
Oh,
sometimes. Just as like a random,
they
just
do.
as you do. I really, really want to see Brighton in the Championship and not playing Premier League football anymore because they just look good while playing, but they are they are just bad. Yeah, they are. They are not fun. Like they're just
Yeah, I mean,
an
they're not
annoying
great,
team.
but like, just because a team is terrible does not mean that you desperately want them
No, they're just
to
an
be.
annoying team. I don't know what it is about them, but they're just an annoying team.
Hmm.
Um, I really would have liked Sheffield United to stay
I'll,
up. I mean, they they did well last
yeah,
season.
nah. Hmm. Well, yeah, they did well in the first season, but I mean, you can see now that they only came ninth because of one person, and that one person was Dean Henderson.
Yeah.
Because it's genuinely the exact same team, just with Aaron Ramsdale in the goal, and now the bottom of the league with 14 points after 32 games.
I mean, Aaron Ramsey keeps getting relegated. We got
Yeah, I feel kind
relegated
of bad
last
for him.
season.
I think he is good. He's just got four wet toilet rolls in front of him as a defense, or five wet toilet rolls because Sheffield's more powerful than that. But yeah, I do actually think he's quite a good keeper, and I think he will probably be England's number two um in the future. But I don't know. Just
Yeah.
can't stop getting relegated, I guess.
I mean, then if you look up the table further, you see Aston Villa. But you see Southampton. I mean, they were what? They were first for a week. How far down
Yeah,
have
they were
they gone?
first in November, September. I don't know,
Yeah,
but they weren't
November.
top of the league. Yeah, November. Um, and yeah, they kind of had that bit of a blip, kind of fell down the table. Well, I say blip, it was like 3 months.
It was dropping off a cliff, like their point.
Yeah, and then
They
and then they
they had
hit
like
and then
thirty
they
six
hit
points.
and then they hit their head off the bottom of the cliff where it's like rocky when they lost 9-0. Um, like how do you lose 9-0 consecutively?
Yeah, it's a tradition now.
Yeah, they're gonna lose 9-0 to like Wickham.
That'd be incredible.
Why would Wickham play them? But I think relegation zone, the championship. But yeah, it's just they kind of fell off a cliff, and then oh yeah, I saw today that they are statistically the worst team in the Premier League in 2021.
Yeah, I saw that as
They've
well.
got 10 points. They've got 10 points this year. It's late April.
I mean, yeah, you gotta feel bad for them at some point as well.
Yeah, I do feel
Yeah,
bad for them. I feel bad for Ralph Hasenhüttl more than anyone because
yeah, he's
they
a
just have
quality manager.
yeah, he's a good manager. It's just that his squad is just god awful. Like they've a terrible starting 11, a terrible bench, and terrible reserves. Well, I mean, some players are actually good in their starting 11. Poor pressings, Walker Peters, good potential. That's about it. Salisu maybe didn't start half the time.
Uriel
Where's Che
Romeu,
Adams?
he's a beast of a
Romeu,
player.
yeah, yeah, true. Has been injured for a while, so
No,
maybe
but
that
when he played,
plays in.
he was it was the Hodgebjerg of or Hoybjerg, um, for
Hodger
them. Yeah, I call him Hodgebjerg because I know every time I say his name, I'm butchering his name, so I go for
Okay.
Hodgebjerg instead.
So
Not that
instead of
that much is
trying to
better.
improve it, you just butcher it even more.
Basically, yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah. I mean, looking even further up, you got Aston Villa. I mean, they started pretty well. Um, they started very well. Kind of slowed down a bit, but that's kind of expected of them. Same with Everton.
But
Uh,
talking of teams in claret and blue, West Ham United.
wow.
Sorry, Jesse Lingard FC. Jay Lings, Messi Lingard, carrying them into the top four.
In the last
What a
four
game.
games, they've scored 3 goals at least. 2 goals. 2 goals.
Oh, I
I'm
thought you
looking
meant three
back.
goals in total. I was like, I
No,
don't think so.
in each game, yeah.
Yeah, and like every single one of them, Lingard.
Yeah, I mean, if you have fancy Premier League and you don't have Lingard in your team, you're struggling. Like
Yeah,
you're really
you've got brain cells made of I don't know sun cream or something.
sun. Where do you come up with this stuff? Brain cells
I
made
don't
of
know. It
sun
just
cream.
comes to my head, you know.
Yeah, the crazy head. Um, and then we obviously go to the very very top tier teams, and also the teams we don't really like
Middlesbrough
anymore. Oh yeah, I mean their season fell off a cliff after we lost to Liverpool back in November. They went from
fell off a cliff when we started the season. Well,
yeah
actually, no, that's not true because we actually went on a decent run and we're top of the league for like a month. And after that, yeah, I just died off.
yeah. I mean, I'd say that's it for today. Like we've covered everything we planned on covering. Um, we clearly definitely don't script this, so feel free to
Yeah,
comment something, and we'll
yeah, I
probably
think you can tell that we don't script this. We just come
yeah
up with things off the top of our head.
yeah. I mean, we kind of
Like
go
like
through
pure
topics that we're
like
gonna
pure
say.
people watching. Yeah, we definitely script this. We wrote out the whole script. Um, it,
Spend time.
yeah, it took us 4 days. Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of effort. We really really think about this.
definitely.
So, I mean, that's it from us. If you have any comments, you can put them in the place where you can put comments, kind of. Um,
Comment
and
section.
yeah, there you go, the comment
Literally
section.
in the name.
And yeah, if you want to be part of one of these podcasts, if you bother listening all the way this far. If you want to be part of one of our podcasts, I mean, feel free to DM us on Instagram or contact us somehow. Probably not in the comment section because we're not going to be able to get back to you that way, but DM us. Our football channel is All About Football Podcast. And probably get back to you soon enough. And we can talk about football. So that's it from everything from us today. And good night, good day, good morning, wherever you are.